This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the alien role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Heart of Darkness. It was written by Andrew E.C. Gaska, and it's available from Free League Publishing. Our game AI is Tyler Hudak, and this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by Steve Anderson as his character, Colonel Dr. Seja Dabrikowski. But before we begin, we have a new patron. Stephen Loudon has pledged £4.50, that's a little over $5 American, to our club. Thank you so much, Stephen. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Steve?
Personal log 35.7.2. Deck D, Arabis Penal Station, orbiting Ablassen black hole. Geholdgod Institute staff, Tetsu Ahiri, command, Lark, synth, psych support, Hector Navarre, bioengineering, Noor Sajad, security. Captain Luger, Hedenstrom, and the synth gray remain above the Centurina. Station personnel and corporate penal slaves unaccounted for. Mission goal: investigate possible new extremophile life form sighted in black hole accretion disk. Situation report abstract. Typical corporate bullshit at this station, money before sense, putting people in danger and limiting actual scientific progress. Full sit rep. While beginning our preparation to dock with Station Arabis, we observed significant damage on the starboard portions of the station. The damage was likely from collisions with asteroids, perhaps material being drawn into the accretion disk, perhaps from another source. For example, the asteroid that the possible life form congregates near. Note to self, yes, I know it's ridiculous to suppose this life form may have used space rocks as weapons, but at this point in time I cannot exclude any possibility without more data. Before we could complete our docking procedures, asteroids and some kind of gravity spike hit us. The ship went out of control, heading for the station. As the captain was incapacitated by the strike, Lark piloted the ship. We made a controlled crash, leaving the ship wedged into the station. The ship's batteries were drained and the thruster was disabled. Luckily, everything we needed could be found on the station. Unluckily, portions of the station were engulfed in plasma flames. Those flames were making the Centurina hotter too. The decision was made to do a spacewalk to board Deck F of the station, open the airlocks, and flush the fire. This was accomplished with no loss of life, but we were exposed to heavy radiation. The material that hit the station is highly radioactive. Note to self, investigate why it is so radioactive. We saw no signs of staff or prisoners. We went up the center chute. At Deck E, the residential deck, we detected a great deal of radiation. At Deck D, we decided to explore a bit. I, along with Navarre, found this office, the astrophysics lab. The rest of our group went to explore the engineering office on this level. The astrographic holodisplay showed a large asteroid labeled 1113b that's sharing an orbit with this station. As we leaned in closer to look, we heard, from the direction of the chute, a piercing scream. But what was worse, we heard another howl, as if in reply to the first. Whatever they are coming.
All right. And Just to recap a couple other things, you are in Deck D, which is the reception and sciences deck. Some of you were in the astrophysics lab, some of you were in the engineer office. Um, you are also one of the things that you're also looking for are parts to fix the Citarina, specifically power cells, a thruster compression coil, and various cutting tools to basically cut you out of where the ship had crashed in. So, as we said last time, you are, all, in the various rooms looking around. In the astrophysics lab, you had found, the holographic view of the black hole, the station, and, an asteroid which the life forms had supposedly been found on. Um, or at least or I'm sorry, no, another asteroid that was out there. Um, in the engineer's office was basically trashed. Somebody had gone through and just knocked monitors over, knocked the terminals over. You were able to find a post-it note that had a number of override codes on it. What they do, you have no idea, but you've got it. With that, like I said, you are both sets are in your various rooms, and you hear a piercing howl come from somewhere in the hallway. It reverberates and echoes down the hallway. You can't tell where it's from, and then shortly after that, from the opposite direction in the hallway, you hear a high-pitched response, almost like a shriek. Before we go any further, though, I want you all to make an air supply roll. So the way that this works is you are all in your spacesuits still. I believe you all said that you were keeping the helmets on. If I am incorrect on that, let me know. Um, and the spacesuits that you have are the Eco 2 All World Systems Hostile Environment suits. They have an air supply of six. So you get to roll six dice. For every one that you roll, the your air supply goes down by one. So if you roll two ones, it's your air supply is now down at four. Lark, you originally had a suit on when you came over. Are you keeping your suit on?
Yes, I think I would.
Okay, so you can make the roll as well.
I got Yahtzee, but it was all
Yeah,
fives.
please.
Awesome. Fortunately, that means nothing.
Yeah.
So each one is what?
Each one reduces your air supply by one. You have an air supply of six.
Okay. Not
And
anymore. I have an air supply of five.
all right, we'll be doing these every once in a while. Colonel, next time you'll roll five dice. Sergeant, next time you'll roll four dice, and so on. If you ever get to zero, let me know. All right. So you've heard the howl coming from one direction. You've heard the response coming from another. What are you all doing? You've only explored, I think, part of this floor as well. So
Good God, what was that?
I don't know, but it
Sounded
didn't sound human.
sounded like a life form of some sort. Uh, we need to be on guard. That it almost had a bird quality to it, like I don't know, a raptor.
Did it sound like it was between us and the sergeant?
no, it definitely wasn't between, the two rooms. It's coming from, somewhere else on the floor. And you can both see each other. The map doesn't do justice as to, how big this actually is. The center area of the floor is really like a circular hallway that goes around the entire floor, wraps around with doors to each area, each room.
Maybe we
Well,
should
if
go
I
up.
have, I make sure I have my pistol out.
Maybe we should go up. We should get out of here. I think we've seen what we came to see. Let's go up to see.
I mean, yeah, I mean, get behind me, both of you. Uh, yeah, fine, back up and head that way, but we probably need to know what's coming after us. And the shotgun is kind of pointing out, but there's nothing there. It doesn't sound like. Well, it sounds like it. Doesn't see like.
So are you all gonna regroup together
Yeah.
before?
That's
Okay.
wise, yeah.
And I'd say we're all probably pretty seriously on guard.
Okay. So you are all, you've kind of regrouped together. Um, the and you said you're going to be heading towards the chute. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're going down to or up to C, I think
Okay.
was the idea.
So yeah, you're all heading towards the chute. Hear the noise again, and looking down the hallway towards I'm gonna call it the southern area of the forest. Kind of hard to describe towards where like the VIP bay is. Um, you see this elongated shadow creeping along towards you. You can't really tell what it is. You just see this very long shadow. Remember, this hallway is curved, and so whatever it is very close, and it lets out this another not really a shriek, but more like a muffled howl. It's not like something you've heard before.
Need to get a look at it.
I think we need to leave.
I think we should evacuate this area.
We have a vague idea of how large it is, right, Tyler? You said we kind of see a shadowy figure.
You see it, yeah. You definitely see a shadowy figure. The shadow is very elongated, so you can't get an idea for its true size. It doesn't look like mammoth though.
Okay.
Probably if you had to guess, it's probably small, but you're not 100% sure.
It
Dr.
could be
Navarre.
it could be someone in a malfunctioning suit.
Doesn't matter. That is not our prerogative. You guys, Lark, make sure you're keeping an eye on our back while we're
Of
going.
course.
If
Yes,
we're going
yes,
to the
Sergeant.
chute, we're going to the chute.
One moment, Sergeant. Dr. Navarre, could this be the extremophile that we came here
I
to
don't
find?
know. It could be just a dude. It could be an AI. It could be any of 100 things. There's no reason to get all scared and run to the chute.
Well,
Dire situation.
as you all are arguing about who's going to go in the chute, what are you going to do? From around the corner, so you see something stir and appear. It's not human. What it is a cat, a very large tuxedo cat carrying what looks like a rat in its mouth, and it makes it this muffled mule, as it kind of comes up to about maybe like 5 feet from you, drops whatever it's carrying on the ground, and just sits down and looks at you. And lets out this meow.
I'm going to
Oh
pick
dear,
that up,
let's.
get him out.
You were right, Dr. Navarre.
Well, I guess we were a little jumpy.
I guess we're jumping.
Yep.
This
We're
place is
not
creepy
jumpy.
as hell.
That's one.
I have the cat
Where's
now.
the other?
All right. So, Dr. Jerry, when you go to pick up the cat, and the cat seems very friendly. It kind of jumps into your arm and kind of nuzzles against you. You can hear it start to purr, but you also get a good look at what it was carrying. And go ahead and take another stress point, because you look down and it's not a rat. The best way you can describe it is a large rat-sized squid
Oh my
that's
God.
lying
look at that.
there, not moving. It's gray mottled skin. It has 4 tentacles that are maybe 6 inches, 6-9 inches long, but it's lying there. It's kind of hard to see because the cat is like nuzzling up against your face.
Oh my God.
Take it away from the cat.
Yeah,
It's
got
some
the
sort
cat
of
away.
some sort of
Dr. Navarre.
cephalopod, but of no
If you-
species that I'm familiar with.
Definitely not. It's also not wet, indicating that it likely did not come from like a
It is
aquarium or
dead,
something.
however, right? It's not twitching or moving.
It's not moving.
Um, Well, this is a bit of a mystery. What on earth were they working on here?
Could this be the life forms that
It doesn't seem like the kind of life form that could survive in outer space in the vacuum. Perhaps it's something else they've been working on. Um,
perhaps the stage of their development?
I'm going to, I don't know if I would have brought any sort of collection equipment with me at this point. So
Well,
I
Dr.
don't know.
Navarre, if we go up one deck to the med lab, we might be able to collect something to place it in, come back down.
I'll uh I'll temporarily carry it with me, but if the damn thing moves, I'm throwing it.
So go ahead and actually everybody except for Dr. Jerry, take another stress point because Dr. Navarre, as you reach down to grab it, it moves impossibly fast down the hallway, pushing itself on its tentacles and
Here.
just kind of skids around the corner and disappears from view. As
Oh,
far it was almost like it went from being dead, not moving to being alive, and it just shot away.
God.
My God. Uh let's
Hmm.
let's get off this level. I think I'm with you now. Something's obviously gotten out if they were doing mutation experiments of some sort.
Keep the damn cat with us, because whatever it's doing, something is answering it, or else
Do
it's
we have,
echoing, which is not good either.
does the cat have a name tag?
It does. The cat's name is Adrian.
Adrian.
And besides, this thing has already proved it can catch whatever that space rat squid thing was. So,
Cats are biological marvels. They are able to move very, very fast.
This has been their duty on ships for centuries.
Is Adrian a real cat or a synthetic cat? Like real
No,
animals are quite rare,
he,
right?
yeah, but he is a real cat.
Oh, okay.
Buddy.
Um, and as you all are uh, kind of looking at the cat, trying to figure out what this squid thing is as it ran off, another one of those shrieks on the floor rings out. Definitely coming from down the hallway. You suspect that the responses was Adrian with with his muse muffled with the thing that was in his mouth because as soon as that thing shrieks out, Adrian just like mews in response.
Hmm.
Yeah, unless that sounds like a mama cat, I'd suggest we,
Does not.
if you want to get going, let's get going.
Get out of here.
I don't like it when things don't die right.
All right.
well, it was probably just plain dead. I mean, that's also something that
Oh,
animals will do.
great. We can
With
save
Yeah,
with
this trip to the animal zoo for when our ship is not slammed into the
yeah.
station.
agreed. And we have to do our job here to see if we can find out more information about these extremophiles as well.
I
We
agree. We
don't
can
care
do
about
that once the
space squid
station isn't
rats.
destroying itself.
I think
Sure.
our priority now is finding out what happened to the station before we continue with our mission. It will be there some in some form or other. It will be there. I think now our priority needs to like making sure that that the captain is tended to, that we're able to get off of this ship if should we need to, and ascertain what happened to the crew and the staff of this station before we can continue anything. So I think that
Let's
needs to be
go.
the priority now. Getting home safely will always be our priority. It will be mine, making sure you all get home safely. So I think if we go to C, maybe we can learn some more. And as we go to B and see the control centers, just make sure that if there's no one alive on here, I think our mission has kind of been predetermined for us.
One of the things before we go up to the next level, we're looking for a part for the thruster, right? Isn't there a storage room here on this floor,
There is
on this
there
level?
is a There is a parts storage on this floor. You have not gone there yet, but yes, there is.
Let's get what we need.
Okay. Well, that is true. We do need to find that out.
Uh,
Is it down the hall where that thing came from?
You
so
can't really tell. You can just hear it kind of echoing through the hallways.
unless
It's
So
so
something's going to
small.
be light, I suggest we continue on because we're gonna have to haul it through here, and I don't want to do that
I think
up and
Gray
down
said
the
it was
ship.
a small part, didn't he?
Is it?
there are multiple parts. So the batteries
Right,
that you need.
the
Yeah,
thruster part there.
the thruster coil is something that it's basically a nothing. It's a small nothing part, but it
Okay.
is something that's vital to your thrusters working. You know that you know is probably going to be where you may be able to find it somewhere in the ship or in the space station, but you would definitely find it in one of the thrusters on the outside of the ship. The power cells, you know what those are. Those are very large batteries. Somebody could carry one, but that's all you're carrying. And then, cutting tools, those are, tools that you would, find all over the place. You just didn't have any on the set arena.
Yeah, if it's just a small piece we're looking for,
Yeah.
that's fine. But yeah, if we're talking the power tools,
No, no, just
I
that
hesitate.
that coil for the thruster. It doesn't hurt to check, right?
I mean, we need it.
I'll head towards the part thing, assuming I know what a thruster coil looks like.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll just say that you do. So there are two ways that you can get to the parts storage. One would be going through the engineer office, or one would be going through the VIP bay. Which way are you going to go?
I would say the VIP, just
Okay.
in case. We might see someone there in the couches.
Yeah, so you go into the VIP bay. It is actually mostly empty. You do see a couple couches. Nothing, really there that shows you or anything of value. To the south is a docking station where visitors will typically dock. Um, there's a door to the part storage, and then there's a door, I'll say, to the east that goes to an airlock. And then you know that nearby would be some EVA suits or storage for EVA suits. Um, are you going to the part storage?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you go in there. The It's actually surprisingly well stocked still. There are a lot of the parts on the floor. There's a number of shelves. One or two have kind of spilled over. You suspect it's probably from the gravitational fluctuations that are happening. Most of the parts in there you can't really use, but you do find two cutting torches that would be useful both as a weapon and as to help cut the set arena out of the ship.
Are they small enough for us to carry around?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I don't
Hand
have
them out.
the stats on me. I will get those later, but yeah, you can very easily carry those around.
All right. Good thing we stopped here.
Do we have the coil? No?
No coil.
Okay.
No coil.
All right. Let's get out of here. Let's go up to sea.
All right.
Yeah.
So you head out. The whole time, every so often, you hear that shriek coming, echoing from somewhere within the floor. You kind of suspect, based on the process of elimination, that it's either coming from the airlock or the EVA suit storage. But you make it to the chute, and Adrian is following you. Even if you put him down, he's kind of, trotting along behind you. He'll make his way, near every single one of you, kind of rubbing up against your legs, probably tripping you in the process. But you get into the chute. and you said you're going to level C, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So you go up to level C, which is the Health and Wellness Center. You get out, and again, there is lots of there's power there. Here, there's lights. When you get out of the chute, you do find a terminal right outside of the chute, and you have really four different areas that you can go to. You can go to and there are signs kind of pointing for each one. One is to the med lab. Mother, the mainframe of the space station, is on this level. There are emergency cryopods, and then it also in that direction, there's a arrow that says warden quarters, and then to the south it says hydroponics garden. The terminal, as you get out, is making this like beeping noise.
Huh. Is it accessible? Is there a message on it?
When you go up to it, you can see that it's making this almost like chirping noise. And it says on the screen, it says processing data, mother offline.
Oh dear.
We need to get that data.
Who's got the best computer skills of us?
I have a ComTech of 4 and a wits of 5, so that's
Good.
9.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
you.
I'll go with you, Dr. Vibrakowski.
Yeah, I'll try to open the door to Mother.
Okay. You are able to open the door. As you do, so if you recall from like Alien, it looks very similar, where it's a kind of almost like octagonal room with lights and screens all over. In the center of, in this case though, in the center of the room is the chair that somebody would sit when they would kind of talk to Mother or interact with Mother. However, it's basically on a balcony over a cooling pit of basically a mixture of antifreeze and other chemicals which are used to help keep Mother cool. When you open the door, so it's just you two, right? It's Navarre and Drabakovsky.
Yes.
Okay. When you open the door, you first have this like plume of acrid smoke come out. It's very difficult to see, but looking in, you can see where the chair is, the chair to control Mother, and melted into the chair is a charred black, grotesque, misshapen body. Uh, Beyond recognition. Go ahead, both of you take a stress point for that. Dr. Jerry, Sargent, and Lark, what are you doing as they go to Mother?
I'm trying to see if I can like bypass I want to see if I can bypass on the terminal that we have to see. I just want to know how many people are still alive on the station.
Sure, go ahead and give me a contact roll.
Okay, so that would be contact line would be not as good as theirs. That'd be a 5 and a 2. So I roll 5, and then I add 2, but I also roll my 2 stress dice, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's a lot of time.
Yep.
Okay, I got a 1 on one of my stress die,
Okay.
and I got no successes.
All right, so go ahead and do a panic roll. What you're going to do is roll a d6 and add what your current stress level is to that, and tell me what number you get.
3.
3. All right. So you're able to kind of keep your nerves together. You're getting frustrated. You're trying to get access to this data from the terminal. It keeps telling you mother down, access denied, and you finally just get frustrated and smash your hands against it like you're on the keyboard in frustration. But you're just not getting anywhere. Sergeant and Lark, are you there with him, or are you
Yes.
go? So
Yeah.
you see this happen where Dr. Ujiri is just not able to, do anything despite, multiple attempts.
Damn it.
Doctor, I think you should step away from the terminal before you permanently damage it.
You're correct, Lark.
Why don't
All
we
right.
take a walk and go look at the med lab? We came up here to do that anyway. And once we've cooled off, we can try again.
That sounds good. Let's do that.
All right. So you head over to the med lab. Um, Colonel Drabakovsky and Dr. Navarre, you're in front of Mother. You see everything that I described before. What are you doing?
I'm going to examine the body. I mean, we're both doctors, so we shouldn't
Uh,
freak out if we see a dead body.
it's no, it's definitely a human body, although it has basically been deformed. I mean, it's also, partially melted and, had, destroyed by fire essentially. Um, but there's just something off about it. It's human, but it's not. As you're examining the body, you do find a partially melted plastic ID card that says Science Officer Clerk,
Is it male or female?
male.
It was one
It
of the
looks,
people we were supposed to meet up with to get a
yeah.
debrief on their
Does
work.
it
Correct.
does it look to you like there's been some sort of mutagen? The body is deformed as well as burned.
It definitely looks strange to me, but I'm not the expert on biology. If this
Oh,
were the black hole, I'd be able to tell you something, but it
yeah,
looks weird.
it looks weird to me too. But we're in an emergency situation, so setting ceremony aside, I'm going to push the body off the chair and onto the floor.
It takes a
Uh,
little bit of effort because it's melted
it's kind of
into the
melted.
the chair, and so
Yeah.
Colonel, you even have to kind of help him a little bit just to
Yeah.
kind of pull it off, and you know parts of what you're hoping is the former like lab coat or clothing of the of clerk stay on the chair, but you're able to get it off, get the body off.
See if you can gain access.
Well, I'm very worried about using this access port. Clearly, something happened to this person,
Oh,
and
I don't think that this was done by Mother's access port. There's no weapons in here of any kind. I think somebody must have chased him in here and set him on fire. I mean, this is Mother. This is the access.
I am gonna look around first to see if there's anything suspicious,
Go ahead and give me an
sparks or
you don't see anything spark anything like that, but go ahead and give me an observation roll.
okay. Let's see, observation. Oh, that's nice. And all my stress days too.
Hmm.
All right, I got three successes
Awesome.
and one failure on my stress dice.
So go ahead and roll your panic and add the stress dice to it, or your stress points.
That's seven.
7. So you're looking around the room, and you are you're looking at all of the different panels, being careful because there's a huge pit of coolant right below you. And you don't see anything, odd, and then you turn around again and you see the body lying next to the chair, and you just start to visibly twitch. Dr. Navarre, you gain a stress from seeing the colonel just start this nervous twitch, in their hands, in his hands, in their, face, and so on. And it lasts for about 30 seconds or so. But
Dr.
it,
Dabrakowski, Pull yourself together.
You do notice, though, Colonel, that right next to the body on the chair, almost like underneath the chair, is a panel which you normally don't see in a room in a mother control room in the chair. It seems very out of place.
There's a you may not be familiar with Mother, but um, this is weird. This doesn't belong here.
Can you deduce what it's there for?
Um, I
Well,
can
you're
look
the
at it
computer expert.
more
Yeah.
Yeah,
closely.
it's about a foot wide by maybe like 6 inches tall.
I'll keep my eyes on the door. There's just one access door, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I'll keep my eyes on the door in case we get anybody coming, but I'm not much use in examining the computer stuff. Please.
Colonel, are you gonna open up the panel? All right. It takes
Definitely.
you about a minute. You are finally able to kind of like push the pull the panel out, and within the panel is it's maybe just like a little almost looks like a storage area, but you see a drive. When you kind of pull the drive is connected via a cord to the chair, and you can see displayed on it uh, Marine Corps or USMC encrypted, eyes only. Going back to Dr. Jerry Lark and Sajad, you were going into the med lab, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so you go into the med lab. The med lab is actually, surprisingly undamaged, given, everything that you've seen within the rest of the space station. And there are a number of things that you see as you just, initially look around. First, there are two auto docks within the room. These are diagnostic devices where somebody would lay down in it and it would like scan. They can do very simple tasks, but they can't do anything like surgery or anything like that. They're mostly just diagnostic. You see along, some of the tables and some of the countertops, a lot of different medical things you would expect to find in a med lab, bandages, first aid supplies, and so on. Looking through all of these, you also see some of the things that you see out of place are you find a disc lying on the one of the counters. It is not labeled. You see a booklet which is labeled Web, WEBB, and it says log. Almost like it appears to be some type of journal. There are several basically culture dishes that are scattered across the room. This is the only thing that really seems out of place and disorderly, I should say. There are a number of meds in the cabinet that you can see, and there's also a jar of what looks like fireflies. This is the most out of place thing. When you look at it, you can kind of see these specks floating around inside the firefly. Where it's situated, there is a laser that is like pulsing every 10 seconds into it, and when it pulses into the jar, the laser light is refracted into like and all the black specks just become illuminated into these tiny phosphorus forms. That's and they kind of start moving around really fast, and then the laser light goes off and it just goes to like these black specks floating around inside of it.
Hmm.
Fascinating.
I'm gonna go for the journal. Is Dr. Webb was he the medical officer aboard this ship?
Yes, he was one of the I believe so. Yes, he was the medical officer.
Well, let's see if Dr. Webb has something to tell us. So I'm going to start looking through the journal
Okay,
about.
it's gonna take you a little bit. What would the other two like to do?
Sergeant is raiding the medical
Hmm.
cabinet. We need
Yes.
anti-radiation. We need turning to the doctor in terms of concussion, brain damage. You're the
Yeah.
expert in what we need.
Yeah. I just want, and I also want to like kind of evaluate the area. Like, will we be able to take care of the ship's captain in here if we had to?
Is
Um,
the sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Is the disc, do we have a means to like access the contents of the disc on us, or is that like a terminal thing?
You would have to find a terminal
Okay.
to utilize it. It would make sense that there is a terminal in here, but just like the terminal out near the chute, it's kind of chirping,
Right.
and it
Oh,
says, processing data, mother offline.
Another offline.
mm,
Okay.
Sergeant, you said you were looking at the meds, kind of looking through all the supply cabinets. You find things, generic medicine like aspirin and antacids and things like that. But you also find 5 doses of a mental relaxant called Chill X, CHIL-X, and then another 2 doses of a neural stimulant called Neurotic. I'll just tell you what those do. Chill X, if taken, reduces the NDD roll total by 1, and Neurotic removes 1 NDD effect from somebody. Recall that the NDDs, the neurological disorders, are what happens when you have these gravitational fluctuations and so on.
Is there anything in here for radiation? I think we all have some exposure.
No, you don't see
Okay.
any Rad-X or whatever
Mm.
anti-radiation.
I'll bundle up the drugs that we do find all the Chillexes and neural ticks and yeah, keep those with us.
Okay. Um,
I think,
Dr. Eger, or go on.
could I use my talent as a counselor, or is this kind of like a quiet moment, I guess, to talk with maybe the sergeant and use that skill, or is it more like you kind
Sure.
of need to be in a like a low stress environment, I
I
guess?
mean, you've got to be in a low stress environment, but you are at the moment. So yes, you could absolutely do that.
Yeah, so I think I'd pull the sergeant aside and just, have a quiet moment and say like, we found some peace in this place right here. We found medicine, which will definitely help the captain. And maybe we'll find some answers now that we found Mother, and maybe we can take a little heart in that. I know it's been stressful, especially since I don't think either one of us saw the body in the room with Mother. So,
No,
oh,
and yeah, yeah,
you can heal 5 stress.
don't mind if I do. Uh, I think there is like the return of the lack of stress is that anger of being talked down to by Lark because kind of that rival like don't tell me what this is. We are at the gates of either heaven or hell and you're telling me to stay calm. Screw you. I'm gonna stay calm, but because I want to.
Well, I wouldn't ask you to stay calm, Sergeant. I know that's part of your job is to protect us, which means to stay alert. But
Yeah.
and you're doing your job well.
And it's just a reminder, you all have a signature item that you can interact with once per act in order to reduce stress. So just keep that in mind. Dr. Eger, it's gonna take you, another couple minutes to kind of read through what you're finding. So we're gonna jump back to the Colonel and Dr. Navarre. Um, Colonel, you see this drive, within the this little cabinet or panel area. Are you gonna pull it out?
It doesn't look like it's something that could have caused what we saw to the operator, correct?
No, no,
Just
definitely not. In fact,
No.
it was completely protected. There was
hmm
scorch marks on the outside of the chair on the panel, but inside
hmm
it was surprisingly well protected.
More importantly, it's not Wayland Yutani. It's the other faction.
Yeah,
Is
the
this
USMC.
spy equipment?
And it says it's encrypted. believe our best chance at unencrypting it, decrypting it, is if we use Mother. Perhaps we could see how it's been encrypted, or maybe it's still mounted and we can just see the data on it.
Well, I'm wondering if they have been secretly recording everything going on here. That's the kind of thing those people would do.
True, true.
In which case, there may be a complete record on there of everything going on the station.
Exactly, which I think we could really use at this point.
Well, if it's not interfering, maybe leave it there for now, but we can always retrieve it.
Definitely, I don't think we should leave this deck with it still plugged in, but let's take a look at it now if we can. So
Actually,
having
now
it
that I think about it, what if it actually initiated shutting down Mother because of
could
something
be
that happened? Maybe real, just remove it and hand it to me, and I'll hold it, and we'll plug it in somewhere else to decrypt it.
uh well, yeah, we'll have to see. It could be that this is what's causing Mother to loop, is it's trying to load this data and that's what, but it could be something else. I think let's not disconnect until we're sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Dabrikowski, if I come across as somewhat cavalier. Uh, I'm under a
Oh,
great deal of stress right now, and I would
we
like
all are.
answers.
Yes. And I want to get answers as quickly as I can. And see if we can find out information about these extremophiles. That's the whole goal for us to be here. If we can at least, if they have data on that, that we can use to gain what we need for our mission, then that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, having seen that there's nothing obvious that would cause the operator to die, I'm gonna hop up in the
Booby trap,
chair
right.
and and try to access Mother.
Sure. So you hop up in the chair, sit down, pull the panel towards you, and the as soon as you try to access Mother, you get a error that flashes across the screen. The error, the message that flashes across the screen says, "Circuit breaker flipped, must be reset." And you can infer from that that the circuit breaker that for Mother is within the coolant pit itself. Just to let you know, the coolant pit is all liquid, and it is approximately 4 degrees Celsius.
Well, thank God we still have our spacesuits on. I mean, they would protect us in the coolant, correct?
Sure
Somewhat.
that they're waterproof, but
Yes, you would be protected from drowning with those. They are waterproof since they are spacesuits, but they would not fully protect you from the cold.
And
I have
obviously,
to
I
be
would know the right way to flip the circuit breaker.
You know that it's going to take a little bit of work. Well, I will tell you that it's going to require if whoever does this is a heavy machinery roll.
Okay. And there's probably correct outfits or suits or something to do that kind of work, correct?
well, they would probably, if they were doing that
Drain
kind of
it,
work, they would drain it. But right now,
right?
yeah, we're kind of in a hurry. Uh, I don't know. See if there is a way to drain it, there should be a way to refill it, don't you
But it
think?
might cause the entire computer to
Or
fry.
heat up. Yeah.
Yeah. This really isn't in my wheelhouse for fixing this kind of thing.
Oh,
I'm a software geek, not a hardware geek.
Going as you two are discussing this and trying to figure out who, and remember, you all can talk to each other. You have
Right.
those comms. The other three, Dr. Jury, you are skimming through the book. Um, it is Dr. Webb's logbook. And it's a little disjointed, and to say that towards the end of it, it starts to get a bit erratic is not giving it enough credit. So what you're able to kind of determine from this is they brought aboard the meteor that where near to where the Hezbollah lights were, or where the Hezbollah lights were coming from. They brought it in to examine it, and you have to like read through a number of different pages just to kind of even make this out. Some of the pages are smudged. It looks like at some point something got spilled onto it, but what you can tell is that the meteor wasn't actually a meteor. It was a ship, and they made the determination to plug the ship into the space station. And the rest of the pages are very erratic. The next thing that it says is that Webb is just like writing down formulas, and for you're a doctor, so you would know that these are some type of like biological chemical formulas. Go ahead actually and give me a you've got medical aid, right?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, you can either do medical aid or you can do observation, whichever one you would prefer um, about these.
I'm going to do observation because it gives me one more.
Okay.
Um, one, two successes.
Two successes?
Mhm.
Awesome. Um, so with that, and you said it was observation, right?
Yes.
All right.
I'm
So with
also
that,
looking to, I
go
also
on.
curious as to if I'm learning anything, if those fireflies that we found, the
Okay.
firefly-like things were
Um,
from that meteor.
in fact, we'll use your extra success for that. The formulas, as far as you can tell, are some type of like necrotic virus that
Huh.
it appears that that Webb and Clerk were trying to create. You're not 100% sure why, but you see written down in there references to something called the 26 Draconis strain. In addition to that, you are able to determine that that jar of fireflies is basically a sample of the Hezbollah lights. And finally, towards the end is where it really starts to get erratic. Webb is keeps like talking or writing about the virus that he and Clerk are trying to create, and then it switches over to talking about how, from what you can tell, these creatures called the full Fremen are blind if you are in hypersleep, and that's kind of where it all ends. With that, everybody in that room, give me an agility roll, please. Actually, I need to
Base
do this.
agility, right?
Yeah, just base agility. You can you should add stress if you have stress to this as well.
Nope.
0 6.
Lark gave
Zero,
me
zero.
too
Don't
soon.
forget
Got
you can
nothing.
push roll. Humans can push
Uh,
rolls.
I
Humans
got
can
That's
push
true.
rolls. If you do, gain a point of stress, but you also get to add that point to the
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay.
I got one success, but I also got one on one of my panic die.
Okay. Go
One
ahead and roll panic.
success.
All right. So you got one success, Dr. Jerry. You have one success. Go ahead and roll your panic.
8.
8. All right. So
Here we go.
so Dr. Ujiri, were you reading this out loud, explaining them to everybody, or were you just
I
reading this
I
yourself?
probably was starting to get excited once I realized that they
Okay.
were the
So
creatures.
you're kind of reading this out loud, bits and pieces of the passages to Lark and the sergeant. As you get to the end of that, you look up and you see Adrian is on the counter next to this jar of fireflies, his paw just
No.
slowly tapping it. You yell out, "No!" And you start to just tremble as you see this jar. As Adrian bats the jar, and it slowly, almost in like slow motion, starts to fall off. Sergeant, with your one success, though, if you want, you are able to go and catch the jar.
Yeah, someone that lives with cats, absolutely. You always catch what they knock off.
So
You got the
You're
you
good.
reflexes for it.
just almost
Oh,
as if it hits before it hits the ground, you're able to kind of catch it before it shatters. Dr. Ujiri, at least for the time being, I'll tell you when it's over. You are just kind of trembling. It's even hard to like hold the book. You are at a -2 for any agility rolls for the time for a little while.
Adrian, what are you doing, kitty?
He just sits there and
the these are the things for the me like now holding this thing, looking at them up close. This
I
is what
start
we're out here for, is tiny bugs. I thought they'd be big and impressive.
why?
Shake,
I
shake,
wonder
shake.
why
Does it
yeah.
they're
look
It,
any
using
differently when the laser's not shining on them?
it
the
just looks like very,
necrovirus.
very tiny, almost microscopic black forms that you think that maybe the only reason you can see them is there's probably like thousands of them in this
Uh,
jar, and so they're kind of almost compressed into the jar, and that's why you can see them within there.
I wonder if they were trying to design this necrovirus to kill these things, some way to stop them or slow them down. I'm very confused why they would be working on a necrovirus other than to maybe eliminate any possible threat that these creatures cause. I mean, I'm shaking the hallway. I want to pick up more things, but I'm afraid of dropping anything.
I'm
So
gonna take that disc that was sitting around in case I
Okay.
can't remember if that it. So
So about this time is when the Colonel and Dr. Navarre you've kind of discovered with Mother. So you're all kind of at the same point in time if you want to converse back and forth.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Sergeant, Doctor, we have found the operator of Mother burnt to a crisp, basically.
yeah,
Mother is not operating error code 379 requiring a circuit be re-engaged, but the circuit is in the cooling tank.
yeah. There wouldn't be time to empty the tank to get to it. Does anyone have any familiarity with this stuff that they might be able to in our
Heavy
room,
machinery.
perhaps? Yeah, be able to take care of this.
I have a little, but not that kind. It should just be a circuit breaker.
Yeah. Would this
People
be
Uh,
never
awkward heavy
designed these
machinery
to be
to fix
easy.
to hit?
we
Yeah,
So
also found
anything.
evidence that the oh Christ, the United Americas have been spying on Wayland Yutani. We found a drive. Of course, it could be a cooperative venture. The Colonial Marines protect the outer areas of Wayland Yutani's territory.
Well,
Um, but it's suspicious. It's suspicious.
well, doctor, you'll be happy to know that we are here in the medical lab are in the presence of of these of of the aliens that we have come out here to look at.
Oh, oh, I'd really like to see that.
Oh,
Yeah.
fascinating.
Well,
Um,
we need to get Mother on. Anyone have the ability to do this to go down and flip that circuit breaker back on?
well, and I guess this is a question to Tyler because we would know the limitations of our EVA suits. Would our EVA suits not protect us from the temperature of a coolant tank? Is there other risk involved aside from temperature?
You
What
know,
is
there's definitely
Chemicals?
risk. There's definitely risk for freezing damage.
it,
Um,
4 degrees Celsius?
yes,
So
um,
it's above freezing,
it's just
32.
barely above freezing. Yeah.
But wouldn't our EVA suits protect us from much colder temperatures if we were to do a spacewalk? I'm
There's
just
no
But
temperature in
it's
space.
it's the EVA suits are meant to cool you.
ah,
There, it's also the liquid is meant to draw off temperature. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Um, that's not that cold. I mean, I'd go jogging at 20 degrees, back at home. Uh,
Volunteering, doctor?
well, I mean, I have some mechanical. I suppose I could do it. But if somebody has more expertise in
I
physical
literally have zero
labor,
expertise in this.
I think I have to stay at the mother terminal to make sure
yeah,
that
all right.
that anything else happens that you're in place to fix it.
Yeah, Colonel, there's I'll send you a picture of the override codes I found too. One of them is labeled Stikes, so that might be the warden's connection of some kind.
Can I come and take a
Fantastic.
look at the aliens before I go into the deep freeze?
We are
Dr.
definitely doing that, Dr. Navarre. We need to
Dr.
see these
Navarre,
things.
you're a mission specialist. Why don't I go retrieve the item from the coolant tank? This is what you've been sent here to do. Why don't you go come and observe the biomatter, and I'll attend to the cooling tank.
Are you,
Makes
Lark, immune to the temperature change?
I'm in an EVA suit just as you are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, Lark, is not immune to freezing damage. Um, but yeah,
It'd be the
you,
same, I think, either one of
yeah,
us as far as
pretty much.
biological risk.
Was there any data with those life forms?
I have Dr. Webb's journal, and there's reference to a necrovirus they were working on with regards to the 26 Draconis strain. I would love Dr. Navarre and anyone who hasn't seen it yet to take a look at this and see if we can figure out what they were doing.
I put my hands on Dr. Dabrikowski's shoulders, give them a little squeeze, and then with a big smile, I have to turn around and run down to where
All right, Lark,
everybody
let's get this
else
done.
is.
Yes, Colonel. I'm going to leave the disc behind. I shouldn't be carrying this in extreme temperatures, but
Okay. Um,
I can hold on to that if you're
yeah, sure.
just handing it off. Yeah.
okay.
Just so we're clear though, Doctor, you did mention right before Adrian did something. What was that word? Fulframin? What
The,
is that?
the
Fremen, yes.
Fremen,
What is that?
the
Are any of
green
you
That?
creatures.
do any of you know German? Would any of your characters know German?
Um, no German. I'm Spanish.
It doesn't sound familiar to you then.
Hmm.
Fremen.
Does Lark have a translation device built into her?
No, I'm gonna say no.
No one here
But
speaks German. I wouldn't need to know it.
right, but Mother definitely would. All right, so Lark and Colonel Jabakovsky are going to, do the thing in Mother, and everybody else is down at the other place. Awesome. So, Dr. Navarre, you get down to the med lab, and just like I described, it is these black specks essentially within the jar, as you put it into the laser light, and they all just kind of like illuminate into these like tiny phosphorus forms. They're moving around, and you're as a scientist. You can tell they're not moving because you're shaking the jar or from like a current or anything like that. They all appear to be moving on their own, almost independently. Lark and Colonel Javikowski. Lark, you are getting ready to go down. You're going into the coolant pit, right?
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
So,
And I will remove the disc, the Marine Corps disc before we do that, since the
okay,
system's already shut down.
right.
There's no chance that it's still mounted.
Okay. So Lark, you basically have to go down into this coolant pit. There's a ladder, so it's not like you're just jumping into a swimming pool or anything like that. Yeah, you climb down the ladder, and it would be right next to it. So I'm just confirming you're going and doing this, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Correct.
So you climb down the ladder. Immediately as you start to climb down the ladder, your sensors can tell that it is extremely cold. And visibility is very limited because the coolant is it's kind of like antifreeze. It's kind of this like greenish color, and so it's very difficult to see. But you get to the bottom. We'll say it takes a round to get to the bottom, and you see this very large switch that that you need to basically push it up in order to kind of reset the breaker for mother. So go ahead and give me a heavy machinery roll.
2 successes.
Awesome. So you are able to do that very easily because you have a extra success. There's a couple things you could do. You could save it as a +1 for later on if you want to use it on another heavy machinery roll. You can do it in half the time or really show off. Those are really the only ones you want make
I'm not
sense.
inclined to show off. I'll take
Uh,
the extra die on another heavy machine.
okay, yeah. Just remember you've got that extra die. Um, Go
Getting
ahead
out
and
of there fast might be smart, though.
That's really fair, actually. If you don't mind, Tyler, I think I will
yeah.
take Colonel's advice and get out.
Okay.
Come on, get out of there.
Because I was gonna make you do a stamina roll where you would have taken damage if you had not. So you you climb up. You're able to do it very quickly. Colonel, as soon as Lark does this because you can see Mother start to reboot, and as
That's right,
Lark
baby. Come on. Come on.
as Lark crawls out of the pool of coolant, just kind of dripping. The Mother has almost completely booted up, and you finally get the prompt there basically asking what you would like. Those of you in the med lab, there is a terminal in there. Around this time, the chirping continues in the med lab on the terminal, and it's almost like you almost feel like maybe it's like some type of song. It is what it kind of it feels like. But the error message disappears. It still says data processing, but the error message disappears and a prompt appears. But Colonel, Mother has been booted. What would you like to do?
So the first thing I do is on the comm, I say to everybody, Lark has re-enabled Mother. It's booting up now. Please don't do anything with the terminals until I can run some diagnostics, make sure everything's okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to dig into try to get the logs of anyone who said what may have been going on, while also trying to dig through the computer logs to see if I can figure out why Mother went offline.
Okay.
Let me know as soon as they go up. We have a lot of things to check. We need to check for additional life on this station. If there's anyone still alive, Lark has a disk that we found that might have some valuable information to figure out what's going on. I want to see what other models and things they have for this necrovirus they've been making, because we may need that.
And I also want to search to see if I can find anything on ironfish.
All right. So let's do it like this. Um, you can basically ask Mother questions. What questions do you want to ask?
Mother, Do you have a diagnostic report for why you went offline?
The cursor blinks for a couple seconds and then says unknown reasons, overload within electronic systems throughout the space station.
Systemic issue. Mother, do you have logs from clerk prior to the shutdown of the system?
Uh, Mother responds, affirmative. Partial logs only available. And Mother spits this out to you.
85, 09, 12, 22, 02 hours. Clerk, meteoric mass from Hesdalen plasma field brought aboard, heading to terminal 01 to examine now. 85, 09, 13, 07, 00 hours. Preliminary survey complete. Irregular object, 40 meters long by 22 meters diameter, composed of both organic and inorganic residue. Petrified carcass? Secreted shell or nest generated by the Hesdalen lights. 8509 1401 00 hours. Warden ordered core sample of object drilled through rock and biomatter flesh. Struck tempered metallic mass. Human made. A ship? By the way, I'm reading all this through the chat. 8509 1404 14 hours. Universal power port located. Will attempt to recharge object. Oh, clerk. 8509 1406 02 hours. Station-wide blackout when object was connected to power. Stykes lost his shit. Wicks conscripts played nice. No riot. Power restored. Querying object's emergency beacon for transponder ID pulse.
And after that, Mother says that the rest of the logs are corrupted. It suggests that you check the daughter mainframes, where daughter is DA/UT/ER. You would all know that daughter mainframes are usually basically extra mainframes to give extra processing power or to do separate tasks outside of Mother. You also would not expect to have them on here at the space station, so that's a little unusual.
It's
And
a small
again,
station to have that kind of hardware.
yes. And
But
again, this appears to be from Clerk, these notes.
our little drive there may have backups of all the information.
Yes. Yes, there's one more thing I need to check and on the diagnostic front, and then I'll plug that drive in and see what we have. And this part I turn off the comm for. Mother, tell me what you know about ironfish.
Mother, give me 1 second, sorry. Mother kind of blinks for a little bit and says, information unavailable, information located within daughter mainframes.
Hmm. Within all of the daughter mainframes or one specific one?
It responds within either daughter mainframe, daughter mainframes are located in comms tower on deck H.
All right. Now back on the comm, I'm going to plug in this drive to see if we can read what's on it.
Is Mother able to tell you if there are any people still alive on the station?
Oh, that's a very good point. Let me ask that. Mother, are there any humans or synths still alive on the station?
Uh, Responds affirmative. Do you want to ask where
Yes, where are they? And some more details. How many?
She says C deck.
Yeah, it blinks a couple times. It says Dr. Clerk, Deck C. Stykes, Deck F. And then it kind of starts going through lists of various names and categorizing them as either like workers within the space station, workers slash corrections officers, human corrections officers, or basically the convicts. And it says Webb, and who is a convict, along with four or five others, appear to be located on deck H. And then it says, there are basically larger concentrations of the crew and convicts in four other areas within the space station. There are 16 in the hydroponics lab on deck C, which is the deck you're on, 24 in the starboard hangar deck on deck G, 21 in the cell blocks on deck F, and 20 in the lifeboat bay on deck I.
I think we
For
have to.
clarification, did it say Clerk wasn't dead?
No, it just labeled him
Oh, just
as there.
listed that that's where
Yeah.
it was. Okay, I was like,
And
oh,
in fact, it's not labeling any of these as alive or dead.
gotcha.
It's just giving
Oh,
basically last known locations.
could just be reading their tag or whatever.
Correct.
They
They're
all could be dead.
their own personal data transmitters. Everybody on the station would have one. So very similar to what the sergeant gave you.
Could Mother could Mother detect the number of just the number of human life forms living at this moment on the station, alive?
Um, Mother doesn't have that capability, but within the operations center, which is the deck above you, there is so the deck above you is the operations deck. Within the operations center of the deck, there would be basically a way to pull up like a map of the station and all the PDTs there and see where they're moving.
Okay.
So you could turn it that way. They just don't have the ability to say, alive or dead.
Any other questions for Mother before I try to read this disc?
I apologize. If I said Webb was a convict, that was a mistake.
Oh,
That
okay.
was my next
No,
question.
Great.
sorry.
It's like, dang,
I don't
he's
have the
never know.
disc with me, Colonel. I had handed it off to the sergeant.
Oh, I meant the Marine Corps disc
Ah,
that I have here.
shit.
Can before you do that, check for active hypersleep pods, please. We have some notes that Dr. Ajiri read that imply that someone thought they blinded something.
Mother, are there any in use hypersleep couches?
Uh, Responds negative. All Erebos hypersleep stations are non-functional.
Non-functional or not in use?
Non-functional.
Hmm. Any emergency cryopods in use?
Negative.
Have any of the emergency evac vehicles, and the name is escaping me right now, have any left the ship?
So they're kind of referred to as lifeboats.
Lifeboat.
Uh, Mother says no. All lifeboats are present and accounted for on deck I.
In Mother's list, and perhaps it would be too long to go through. Are all people accounted for on this that should be here that live here?
Yes.
Okay.
Have the lifeboats been attempted to be accessed?
No. I'm assuming as everybody is kind of feeding these questions through the colonel.
Yeah.
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 But Mother responds that no, none of the lifeboats have attempted to be ejected.
Well, we have our two discs to look at, but I also think we should check out the areas that were mentioned on this sea deck where there were large amounts of
The
Mhm.
food
hydroponics garden. Mhm.
to see if anybody's in there.
I don't like 16. That's a
Correct.
lot. But yeah,
Have
let's lead with a shotgun and see what happens.
have Mother do a complete station-wide diagnostic and tell us what the hell's wrong, what needs to be fixed.
Comes back
Mother
full
can
force.
absolutely start doing diagnostics as she starts doing it like almost immediately. All of these like errors are coming up or damage reported. A lot of it was on the port side, like what you saw. Also see, and it's flying by. It's going to take a little bit to go through, but you can also tell that there are some levels that still have plasma fires ongoing. So you were going to, all right. So some of you are with Mother, some of you are in the med lab. Adrian is with those in the med lab. Dr. Navarre, as you are looking at the jar, Adrian keeps trying to swat it out of your hand. But what do you all want to do? It sounded like you wanted to go to the hydroponics garden.
I
Mhm.
want to do a thorough exam. I need to figure out, I mean, that's what we came here for, right? To figure out what these things are. So I'll run tests. I want to
I'll
see if I
take,
can see them microscopically.
Lock
I
the door
mean,
behind
I'll,
you.
yeah,
yeah,
so there's
yeah.
not a lot of equipment that you can utilize for that here. The med lab would definitely have a microscope. There's some chemical analysis things and so on.
But the main
You are
lab would
more
be down one level or
that's what I'm looking for.
D, I think.
Yes. Well, you know what? No, there's enough here because basically I'm not seeing any other places? I mean, I guess there are a couple other places, but yes, you
I'll
could
do
do
what I
that here.
can.
Yeah. So, describe to me though how you are going to do this.
I'll take the cat with us so it doesn't bother
Yeah.
when we go to the.
Um, well, I mean, spectral analysis, microscopic scan, etc. I'll use my analysis,
Okay.
which lets me roll and then ask you some questions.
Okay. What does it let you roll?
It says roll for observation to gain the insight. So my observation is that would be 5 dice.
Plus your panic dice. I'll also let you add one additional dice to it because you have all this equipment.
Okay.
But all right, go ahead and roll first.
Wait, I'm rolling the wrong dice. Hold on. I'm supposed to roll. So in this case, I roll 6 regular dice and 1 panic dice.
Okay.
And if the panic dice gets a 1, then I'm fucked. That's the way. Yeah.
Correct. Well, not necessarily. Your rolls don't fail unless your panic roll is a 10 or above.
Okay, I actually received absolutely no sixes. My panic dice is a 3, so it's nothing.
Cool.
And I rolled 1, 1.
As long as it's not the panic rolls, then that's fine.
Okay, yeah, so I'm not able to get anything.
You could
So
push
you
it.
I'm
can
limited.
again you can push. You'll gain another stress, but you get to roll that extra die if you would like.
Uh, okay, if I push, what do I do again?
If you push, you gain one stress, and then you re-roll, but you also add another stress die because you gained that
I
extra
see.
stress.
I see. All right. Still nothing.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
amazing. Not a single sixer.
so describe to me though how you are, looking at these. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are
I'm
you unscrewing the jar to
no,
try to get at
I'm
samples?
I'm reticent to unscrew the jar
Okay.
because they look like dust.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
but I'm
that's a
getting a
really good
micro
description.
I'm getting a microscope and trying to see if I can see a better look at them. But apparently I'm getting too much reflection or something's wrong and I'm just
Okay.
not getting what I want. But
Okay.
they do seem, at least the way you described, that they are not moving like with just Brownonian random movement. They seem to be moving
Right.
like
And
they're guided by some.
right. And when you put them in the laser, it's
Uh,
almost like it energizes them.
okay.
Is what
If
you could
I
tell.
if I shine a light on them, do they all swim towards the light?
A
Or
regular light?
yeah,
No.
nothing. Okay.
All right,
All right.
so they're all of the other the rest of you. You are heading towards the hydroponics lab. Adrian stays in the medical lab. He's kind of curled up on the counter and is taking a nap. There are two ways that you could go to the hydroponics garden. You could either go through the recovery room, which is directly connected to the med lab, or you could go out to the chute and there's like a little hallway that goes down to the hydroponics garden. Which one would you like to go?
Let's go through the recovery room, unless people feel strongly otherwise.
Okay. So you go into the recovery room. The recovery room is again just like the med lab. It's very undamaged. It's a very like pristine, sterile room. There's a bed here that somebody would be recovering from. Nothing else within the room. When you look at the door to the hydroponics garden, there is a little window there. And as you all look through the door, go ahead and gain another point of stress, because you can see that, first off, the hydroponics garden is a very large area. This is where they would grow, vegetables and fruit, generate a little bit of water as well from the humidity. The front of the room, basically along the outer edge of the space station, is would be a very large like viewport that would see out into space. You do see that the whole room is about 3 stories tall. That the viewport is basically fogged up through humidity. But looking through the window, you can see all of the plants within there have become overgrown and mutated. The garden itself, all where you would expect to see green and vegetables and fruit, it's more of a oily, slimy black, where this oily resin is dripping off all of the trees. It looks basically like this slimy black jungle. You can also see in the trees hanging from there, probably about a story up, so about 10, 15 feet up, are what you would best describe as these beehive shaped leafy cocoons. They're very large, hanging from various trees. You can't see in them, but you count 16 of them.
Oh God, those are people. Those are our 16 people.
What is it you're seeing, Dr. Ajiri?
It is they're like cocoons or something. There's this black sludge covering everything. The plants. There's mutations, and there's these like about 16 cocoons where they have to be the life form. They have to be the people that were counted in there. I don't think we should go in there. It could be some kind of contagion or something. I think we should leave this door sealed and not enter there.
Judgment of the Dark Gods, Dr. Ajiri. This has nothing to do with science.
What if they're still alive in
This is
there?
religion.
Whatever it is, religion or science, it's not safe for us to be around. So we're not going to go in there right now. We're not going to take
It's
that risk. I'm
it's
not.
not safe anywhere. We're at the edge of hell.
We are, but I'm going to get us out of here. We're going to leave. We're going to get the ship repaired and we are going to leave. The mission, we have the life forms. We can take them with us and do this analysis elsewhere. But this area, this environment is completely, it's a loss and we need to leave it. There is no one alive on this ship anymore. I'm convinced of it. And we need to get out of here. And I need to get you all home safely. That is my only goal right now. So we are not entering this room, and we are going to start making our priority getting what we can out of here, getting the ship, getting our ship in shape again, so that we can depart this station and return. We can take the life forms with us. We can do analysis elsewhere. We don't have to be here.
Doctor, as you're saying this, and as you're trembling, by the way, has stopped by now. Although viewing this certainly does not help.
It's not
Um,
helpful.
you, as you're saying this, and is um, whoever is, looking through the viewport as well, you kind of catch what looks like on the ground, maybe like 5 feet in, against one of these trees. It looks like somebody is there. It looks like it's a person. You can see this. It's almost like their back is to you. It's very hard to tell because there's kind of some of that black slime that has fallen on them, but you can see, their back kind of rising and falling with breaths. You suspect that, there could be somebody alive in there.
God. All
We
right. If
could.
there's someone alive in there, we do have to get them out. And then take them with us when we leave. Options, everyone. I'm not comfortable opening this door because I don't know what this is. But what are our options? Do we have a way of communicating within that room to have this person come towards the door so we don't have to go in?
No, there's no intercoms.
We would
You,
have
you can
to.
try shouting through the door.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shout at them. We're here to rescue you. Come towards the door.
No, reaction.
Where would we have like a decontamination? Does something like that exist? Some sort
Yeah,
of
so there was one on
lower deck?
floor F, deck F. There was a decontamination room. You found one. It was actually in the airlock, next to the airlock that you all had
Right, right,
opened
right,
up,
right.
but that was destroyed. However, there was one on the other side of the floor of that deck that you did not go to.
Right. Worst case scenario, Dr. Ajiri, the four of you could quarantine in a safe area, and I would go in and examine the life form and then decontaminate myself before rejoining the group. But I'm not susceptible to any sort of disease. It's less than ideal. I understand that because you're kind of exposing the station to whatever might possibly be in there. But if we're dedicated to bringing these people to saving this person that you're seeing, perhaps that's the solution.
There's also an air dock on this
Oh, there's an
floor and
access
on
road.
F.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the air duct. Yeah, you're right. There is a air duct that goes from the recovery room into the hydroponics garden. And of course, the air duct is big enough that you would be able to go through.
Well,
Well,
then that means
in
it's
an
already split
airlock,
its
I meant.
contamination.
Well, yes, but you all are still wearing your helmets.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. My point was if we're fearing contamination, we're already exposed to whatever it is. There's
Oh,
an air duct connecting it to the rest of the station. We all need to go through decontamination.
Might want to consider as well that this is their judgment. Like to mess with that, like this may be how they're supposed to end up. Like I don't. We should focus on saving ourselves.
Sergeant, you're not making any sense right now. I need you to take a breath,
This
step back for a second. All
I
right.
am telling
It's
you
not help. This is not helpful.
this is hell.
It is a living hell. I will agree to that, but we have a way of getting out of it. All right. So, Lark, with all we know about us possibly contamination, we just open the door and try to get this person out right now. What is your recommendation?
I mean, I want to make sure that I have you all are the scientists. My understanding is if there is an air duct connecting this room to the rest of the station, then we are in contaminated space already.
Hmm.
And at that point, it should just be one of us. I volunteer myself as just simply as a synthetic, right? If you four are part of this mission, I'm less likely to be injured potentially, or you know, less valuable as a synthetic. I think that's
But,
typically how you humans perceive us. So I volunteer
right.
myself to go in.
But all the doors that the access vent goes to are closed. So
Well,
until
I
we
think you
open
may be
this,
more human than any of us. All right, let's do that. Let us, Lark, if you're willing to do this, I want you to go in there after we get away.
Wait, Sergeant, you're saying the access vents are closed?
I'm not shaking my
Either
head.
way,
no,
either
no,
way,
no,
I would
the
say,
the
yeah,
the doors to all the rooms
I
where
see.
there
Okay,
are
okay.
access vents are still closed. So
But
the
but
contamination
the
is contained.
Well, if you're in I think any of us who went into the med lab could be considered contaminated.
Oh, the med lab.
probably the air is circulating through the entire station.
That too.
So if
Yes,
there's something in the air,
I will go examine the life form, see
All right.
if there is actions that we can take to preserve their life.
So are you going through the access vent or are you going through the door? The door's unlocked.
I mean, I just as soon go through the door if we've come to the conclusion that this space is contaminated anyway.
All right. So you go through the door. Dr. Navarre, you're kind of hearing all this over comms. Are you just going to continue doing your thing?
yeah, I'm going to try to classify these things.
Okay. So
Um,
so you, okay. So you're working through this. Um,
and
the
and
th
just a quick question. When I look at them, they're extremely small. Yes.
yes,
It's
yes,
not
like
like dust.
microscopic. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Jerry, Sergeant, and the Colonel, you see Lark. Lark, you enter into the room. It's extremely humid in here.
Oh,
Just like I described before, the trees that tower over you are now this mutated black jungle. Oh, Colonel, you're over with Mother. Sorry.
Right, I'm trying to resurrect this Marine Corps drive.
Okay. All right. So then that means Sergeant and Jerry are only there.
Yeah.
Um, as Lark, as you get close to this, what you think initially is a person, it starts to rise. With a low guttural moan, the dark fetal man begins to rise, his back shifting as thick tentacles spill out in front of
oh
him.
crap.
You don't know what the hell you're looking at. With no arms, legs, or head, this thing is clearly not a man at all, but rather a monstrous seven-limbed starfish. Rising to its full man-sized height, it turns toward you, revealing a maw of scissor teeth surrounded by blossoming fleshy petals. Each petal reveals what looks like a swollen eye. Something launches from the creature's mouth and scatters across the floor at your feet, the gnawed, fleshy skull of its last victim. Dr. Ujiri and Sergeant, you also see all this, so please take a point of stress. And we are going to go into initiative. We are going to do initiative a little bit differently than we have in the other Alien games. What we're going to do is I have the initiative card. You can't see them. I have the initiative cards here. I randomly shuffled them. I'm going to start flipping through them. Lark, you tell me when to stop, and that will be the initiative, and then we'll go through each card after that, and we'll sign it as we go through. So whenever you want me to stop.
Stop.
All right. So Lark, you are at initiative 3. We start with
Okay.
lowest goes first.
Oh.
I'm just gonna go around, as I see you all on the screen. The next would be Dr. Navarre, You are at initiative 10, so you go last.
That makes sense.
Colonel, you are at initiative 8. Sergeant, initiative 4. Dr. Ejiri, you are at 1.
Hmm.
And our friend here, who is uh, colloquially named Cuddles, goes at 7 and 5. All right, so we'll begin with Dr. Ujiri. The one thing that you all can do, we're at the top of the round. If you want to switch initiatives with somebody else, you are allowed to. So I'll give you the order just so you all have it. Ujiri, Lark, Sergeant, then Cuddles will go twice, then the Colonel, and then finally Navar.
Um,
So before you go, would anybody like to switch initiatives?
And Dr. Ajiri, my intent was to run from this room. So if you would want to maybe take an action to close the door behind me after I've exited, maybe we
I
swap.
will.
Maybe we swap
That will
initiatives.
work for me.
Okay.
That would work very well for me.
All right, so Lark and Ujiri are going to switch.
Yes.
All right. All right. So recall that you get on your turn, you get 2 actions. You get 1 slow action and 1 fast action, or you can just use 2 fast actions. I sent you over a cheat sheet before. Just kind of describe what you want to do, and then I can try kind of translate that into the various
Sure. I'm
reactions.
going for an all-out sprint out
All right.
the door.
You can actually use that at for both your actions. Normally, you can't if you have an enemy at engaged range, but the enemy is not at engaged range. I would say they're short range, so you are able to move as quickly as you can through the jungle into the kind of back into the recovery room. So that
Okay.
was your turn, Dr. Ejiri.
Um, is Lark able to make it
Yes.
through the door? Yeah, I'm just slamming the door. That's my
So
action.
you slam the door shut. That's a fast action. What what else do you want to do?
Um, if there's any way to, is there like some kind of mechanism on it to like lock it as
There
well?
is a mechanism to lock it, but you need a key card to do so, which you don't have. I will let you make a Comtech roll at a -1 to try to hack the door
Keep it
to do
shut.
it. Yeah, we're
Okay.
not playing with Star Wars rules, so destroying it will not, permanently lock it.
Okay. Um, okay, so Comtech roll at -1. So
Right.
let's
So you take your Comtech plus wits, remove one of the base die, and add in all of your panic die.
go 5 wits, two, two Comtech, pick one away, and then like 4 stress die. Oh my Lord.
Can't possibly fail.
I'm gonna need an extra half. Okay, I have 1 success on a stress die, so that doesn't mean anything, but I have
No,
no.
no, that's
No,
all
it counts.
success.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh, just 1 success, no ones.
that's all that you needed. So you are able to kind of
Mm.
bang the locking mechanism, and you see it go from like green, meaning unlocked, to red, meaning locked. Sergeant, this takes it to you.
The sergeant is just backing up and aiming the shotgun, trying to keep an eye like through that little window at this thing.
Okay. That's technically a fast action. It'll give you +2 dice next turn should you want to. Do you want to do anything else, or are you just kind of sitting there aiming?
I think just waiting to see if it can even get through the door
Okay.
is probably yeah.
All right. So that takes it to its turn. You can see it on within the jungle, moving very quickly, using all of its tentacles to pull itself forward to the door. And one of the tentacles whips out and hits the glass on the door. You can see the glass just splinter, but it did not break. This takes us to Colonel. You are in Mother. You can hear all of this commotion, all of this chaos.
Uh, yeah. Have you guys said what you're doing? What's going on?
I feel
You're
like
probably
yes.
screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just, you know, I think it'd be an interesting thing to do the fire suppression in that room if I know you guys aren't in there. So yeah, can I check and make sure the door is locked?
Oh yeah, the
As
door
a
is
yeah,
locked. Yeah.
and then fire suppression in that room.
Fire suppression, as in the cold or whatever
Yeah,
to. Okay.
yeah,
Go
hail
ahead
on
and
grass, whatever.
give me a contact roll to do that, because you're going to need to kind of work through Mother in order to do that.
My hands aren't big enough to hold all these dice.
I know, right?
Okay, I got one, two, three, five sixes, but
Holy
also
crap.
two ones on my stress dice.
All right, so go ahead and roll your panic. So D6 plus your stress level.
Stress level is four, so that's a five.
Okay, so you're able to keep it together. You're kind of slamming the controls. You are able to very easily find the fire suppression system. So because you have so many stunts, you yeah, there's basically, I think the you can do it in half the usual time or plus one to later rolls. You get four of these, so however you want to do this.
Yeah, definitely half regular time. Want it to
Okay.
happen as quickly as I can. I will save the others for
Okay.
future rolls.
Yeah, so you have three plus ones you can use on a Comtech later on. As you do this, the fire suppression system just dumps almost immediately. Dr. Jerry and Sergeant, the thing disappears from view because you see basically like this cold mist almost immediately fill the hydroponics lab. Colonel and even Dr. Navarre, you're next to a terminal. The Immediately on Mother in the terminal, you start seeing these warnings of extreme temperatures within the hydroponics lab. That'll take us to Dr. Navarre. Dr. Navarre, when all this started happening, Adrian kind of stood up, back arched and hissed. This would have been about the time where the thing stood up. But what would you like to do?
Actually, I don't think that Adrian was with me.
He's in the med lab.
Didn't
We kicked him
somebody take
out.
him? Okay.
We left him on the
Um,
counter sleeping.
as soon as I start hearing yelling, I'm going to put down the jar and grab my gun and go see what's going on.
Okay. So
I'm heading to where they are.
they're in the recovery room, which is just next to you. Adrian kind of jumps down and darts ahead of you. You get in, and just like I described, you see Lark and Jerry right next to the door. Sergeant has his gun. You can't see anything into the room because the glass. You just see fog essentially, but the glass is cracked.
What has happened? Of course, I ask them what's happened. They tell me, but
Right.
we're also
Stay back. Yeah.
This takes us back up to Lark.
I We need to get out of here. I don't even know why we're standing around. We need to get out of here. Let me look where we are on this map. Ugh.
what parts do we still need so that we can get the hell out of here?
We need the
You
coil.
need
All of
several
them.
batteries and the
Yeah.
coil,
I
as
think
well
we
as
But the,
installing
I think
them.
we need to go
And
for the shoot. Just
they're
leave
they're
this
all
deck.
below us, right? Those
Yeah.
larger parts would be below us.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't
Why
I guess
don't we?
I'm pleading with everyone like we should leave, and I'm kind of
I
moving toward the
agree.
chute. I'm
I
not
think
running away, but I'm like moving in
I
that direction. Like
and,
we need
and
to
as
go.
you're pushing everybody, you hear another bang on the door. The glass splinters even further, and you even see almost like a tentacle shaped impression coming, through the door.
All right, we
Let's
we
go.
need to get out of here. Let's get to the central hub. And just
From what Lark is describing, it's a bigger version of the little tentacled thing, would you
Yes,
say?
Yes.
it's like the little squid, giant squid,
oh dear
Oh,
colossal
God.
boy.
squid. We need to leave.
I grabbed the encrypted drive and locked the door to mother behind me.
Okay. All right. So you all, you all, the four of you, we're going to go out of initiative right now. The four of
Taking the
you,
cat.
yeah, including Adrian, go through the recovery room, back into the med lab, into the hallway. Colonel Jablonski, you come down out of Mother, locking the door behind you.
Let's
Where
take
are
everything
you
with us
planning on
as we
going? You,
leave.
you can all hear the banging on this metallic door in the recovery room, even where you're
This
at.
is, I mean, this is like a penal station. Surely there's things like blast doors, like security measures in place in case the prisoners were to riot or, right? Like maybe that's my thought
I,
anyway.
I assume this part of the station is not part of the prison. The prison's down below.
Well, then maybe the prison's actually
So
Are
the
we?
safer place to be.
safer. What's left of it? The
Either way, we have to get to deck H.
There's no safe place here.
To get to the hub, do
Right.
we have to go by the med lab again? Because I think we should take the creatures with us, and any discs or anything that we had, the Dr. Webb's thing. Obviously we've
Yeah,
got
we'd have
the
to pass
the
through it.
post-it note with all the codes.
Oh.
I'm not
Make
so
sure
sure
that
that
just
I
get
can
off this
accept.
level.
I'm not so sure that I can accept a microbial intelligence. Uh, they're more like bacteria or viruses or something.
I'm
They
assuming
may,
whatever they were looking at in this asteroid, something was contained within.
yeah, something that infected. I mean, you think that's one
It's
of
a
the crew
ship.
members?
It's not an
It ate
asteroid.
one
That's
of the
what they
crew members.
found.
That's all I know. What,
Right.
Sergeant?
That it isn't That's what the book said.
Oh, yeah,
Dr. Webb's logbook said it's a ship, not a meteor.
that's right.
And that explains how they can live in the accretion disk, just like we can. It all makes
It
much
could
more
be.
sense now.
Did he mention what faction the ship came from?
No,
No.
there was no information on the ship.
Surely nothing within our known space. This
Well, I
Well,
don't
The
know.
our
Drabakowski.
organic, almost seeming ship.
No,
This is
Drabakowski
Fremen.
mentioned. Remember, he was reading off the logs of Clerk's info. They were looking for the transponder ID pulse. That's the whole reason they powered that ship up, is to figure out what it is.
Mm.
But it blacked out the ship.
exactly.
When they
So
hooked it up to our
great.
ship, it blacked out. Um,
Yeah.
the very fact that they could hook it up to the ship would indicate that
Yeah.
there were standard connections. It
It's
must
a
be
human. Yeah, they
a
said
Wayland
human.
Yutani ship or something.
Clerk suspected it was human made for sure.
Maybe from one of the
So
other factions.
yeah, these are
Previously.
people that got too close to the dark gods, is what this is.
But
They
also,
saw
Dr.
too much,
Oh, Sergeant.
and
Science, not religion.
It's probably
Doctor.
it's
shit. And she'll actually, like, kind of standing in the thing. She'll take her helmet off and
infection,
like
Sergeant,
start.
infection.
I'm fine. It's you I'm worried about. And she'll reach into her shirt and pull out like a small book, and you can see it's titled Space Beast by Roger Morse.
That sounds right.
It's like a ratty paperback. He wrote about it in this. The dark gods and their dragons judge humanity, and my soul
We
is
we
fine, but it's you that I'm worried
Sergeant.
about right now.
we don't
Sergeant?
have time for this. Let's get the fuck out
We
of
need
here.
to leave for
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
safety.
No, I agree that, but
Well, then
I
let's
don't
I
do
think
don't
it.
we
think
need to
it
bring
matters if we
anything with
quibble
us.
about where all of this came from at this
Whatever
point.
reason
Our
we want
lives
to
are in
leave, we all
danger.
agree we need to leave. Let's
Yes,
go.
Deck H, Deck H. We
absolutely.
have to get to Deck H to get the things we need to get the
Yeah,
shit back
that's
out.
our priority now. Getting out of here
I agree with that.
to
All right.
Decade
The
H.
helmet goes back on, but the
The
book's
book
out.
stays out.
Yeah.
And while we're there, maybe we'll find more data about these things.
All right, so you all get into the chute. You're on deck C, and so you need to go, several decks below in order to get to deck H. Remember, the chute is a zero gravity chute, so you're able to kind of pull yourself along. You get down to you get down to deck H. This is the let's see here. What's the official name of it? It is the factory complex. This is where a lot of the plasma is refined. It's where it would the arms, the trawling arms
Yeah,
that
right.
bring in
The collectors.
the collectors are there. There's also some raw collectors that were for like meteorites that they would, get, go mine. They could pull, various things out of there. But you get to the factory complex. You exit the chute, and there are really only two ways that you could go. If you look at the map, you could go east or west. Um, but as one second, sorry. There are a couple of things that you see as soon as you exit the chute. First, the port side of the door, the port door, is completely it's open, and in the hallway beyond, you could see a plasma fire going. In fact, as soon as you step off the chute into what's called the central hub here, you can feel the heat from the fire. On the starboard side, as you look towards that door, you see something emerge from that door. Um, it is a humanoid creature that it kind of stands up to its full height, about 9 feet tall. It is completely black. It has a elongated head, and its mouth opens, and its lower jaw extends out, holding these like hooked, containing these hooked needle sharp incisors. The upper jaw contains human-like teeth. It's takes a step towards you, and another one appears right behind it.
So,
With that, that is where we are going to end for today.
Dear God. Our players included Holly Buto, Nathan Decker, Steve Anderson, Joe Bardalis, and myself with Tyler Hudak as the game AI. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for this show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the terrifying world of the alien role-playing universe. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.